What's up, Jets Nation? Welcome back to another episode of the Juicy Jet Podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Rooney, and when I say what's up, Jets Nation, I mean whatever is left of Jets Nation. The New York Jets are 0-5. They are the only winless team in the NFL. It is an absolute disgrace, and we are here to recap the Jets' most recent debacle against the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I'm not going to lie. I didn't do a lot preparing for this podcast. I figured I'd just roll on and talk because if the Jets aren't going to prepare for their opponent and show up for their game, why should I? So I've got a lot of thoughts, a lot of things that I want to talk about when it comes to this team and what we're looking at, but there is no way that you could have told me at the beginning of this year not only would we be 0-5, but we would be the worst team in football. The Saints have more wins than us. The Titans have more wins than us. The Giants have more wins than us. It just makes no sense how we ended up in this place. But we're here. And just when you think life as a Jets fan could not get worse, you're wrong. It can always get worse, and it will. Because that's the way our life is as a New York Jets fan. That's just how it goes. So let's talk a little bit about this. The New York Jets lose 37-22. In no way was the game as close as the score says it was, and the score's not even that close. It was just an absolute disaster from the beginning. And when I think about this game, there was just a lot of things that were starting to go the Jets' way before the game started. So Vegas actually the entire spread swung in the Jets' direction where they were actually favored up at kickoff, which normally means some good things because Vegas knows. They know everything. And the Cowboys were walking into this game with a ton of injuries. I think 4 out of their 5 offensive linemen were out of the game. You obviously traded away one of your best young defensive players in Micah Parsons earlier this year. They were out one of their starting safeties. They were out CeeDee Lamb. It's just they had a receiver starting for them that no one's ever heard of before today. So you're walking into this game thinking, okay, Dak Prescott's probably one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now, but their defense is the worst defense in the league, and their offensive line is absolutely depleted. If there is any game for us to step up and show what we can do, it is this one. And what happens? We stepped out on the field, and it was over. And it was just a very typical Jets game. The Jets get the ball right away. They march right down the field. I think it was like 70 yards, 13 plays, something like that. And we get down to, I think, inside the 5. And I think it was I want to say it was 2nd and 10, maybe 2nd and 7. And there was a penalty on the play on the defense. And we got the ball down to the 1 on the play. So you could have declined it. It would have been 3rd and 1 from the 1-yard line. Or we would take 2nd and 3 from the 3-yard line. In the moment, I get it. This is all hindsight, looking back at what happened here. We talked about it in the stands. We were like, do you just decline it? For me, it's like decline it, run twice up the middle, maybe do the tush push because we haven't really done it this year, even though we should be one of the teams that does it, and potentially score a touchdown, and if not, they get the ball to 1, whatever. But we decide to go for it. We decide to take the penalty, get the ball to 3, we don't score, we kick a field goal, it's 3-0. One of the major problems with this team is we cannot score touchdowns early in games. Listen to these stats that I'm about to throw at you. Since the first week of the year, the New York Jets do not score a touchdown until they are down more than 14 points. I'm going to say it again. The Jets have not scored a touchdown in the first half since week 1. And in all of those instances, they have been down more than 14 points. So we are giving our opponents a 14-point head start before we decide to score a touchdown. It's just, how is that real? It's 2025. Offenses are supposed to be able to move up and down field like it's nothing and score touchdowns at the drop of a hat, and not us. Not us. We say, you know what? Let's make this game 23-3 before we decide to get into the end zone. And that's what we've been doing for the last 4 games. So no wonder why we're 0-5. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. And another problem here is not just the fact that we can't score touchdowns, it's the fact that our defense can't stop teams from scoring touchdowns. So whatever, we kick a field goal. Then we go the other way. The Cowboys kick a field goal. It's 3-3. Whatever. We're running down the clock. It's like a pretty decent game plan. We just didn't score a touchdown. Then finally Dallas wakes up a little bit, march down the field. They score in the second quarter. Then we get the ball back and we march right down the field, hand the ball off to Breece Hall, and what happens? He gets to the 10-yard line. Boom. Great play by the Dallas defender, but Breece fumbles. So all week in practice, you see the videos of Aaron Glenn with boxing gloves on, punching the ball out of his player's hands. And what happens? Another running back fumbles in one of the most critical moments of the game. So in that moment, Breece fumbles, and this is another thing that I hate about this team. I just hate it so much. We are so soft and cannot bounce back from when something goes wrong. It's like the instant there's a turnover or a problem that is caused by our team, we fold like an accordion, and we are not resilient at all. Everyone on the sideline goes, "Oh no, not us again. Here we go, the same old Jets." And then we can't do shit the rest of the game. It's unbelievable how much the team just automatically shuts down. It's just a loser mindset. It's a team of losers. So what happens? Breece Hall fumbles. Cowboys march 90 yards downfield, 5-yard touchdown by Javonte Williams with 50 seconds left in the game. Then what happens? We get the ball back. I think we go 3 and out or something like that. I forgot. We run the clock a little bit. We tried to get into field goal range. Didn't work. So we give the ball back to the Cowboys. The Cowboys are just going to run out the clock because there's 30 seconds left? Draw play right up the middle. Javonte Williams runs for 60 yards to get back into field goal range. It was the most loser attitude play I've ever seen in my life. Tyler Barron hits right into Javonte Williams, gets knocked over like the wind blew. I just don't this guy's a defensive end, and he couldn't take down Javonte Williams. He should not be on the field. He actually might be a player that's actually worse than Michael Clemens. I have no idea why we traded up for this guy. He should not be playing. This is all on Darren Muji and Aaron Glenn for not getting the depth right on this defensive end group going into this year. So that's number one. Then I see 4 other players miss the tackle on that play. I think there was 2 safeties that missed the tackle. I think there was a corner that missed the tackle. It was so embarrassing to watch Javonte Williams run all the way to inside the 20 before, and then of course they score a touchdown. So they scored 2 touchdowns in 42 seconds or something like that. And right then the game's over. 23-3 at halftime. You went from 3-3 with 10 minutes left in the second. And then boom, game's over. Just like that. And now we're down. I don't even care what happened the rest of the game. The rest of the game, I'm just standing there yelling at Cowboys fans because I'm so pissed off at this team. I'm not even looking. I'm talking to my parents the entire game because it's just so useless and there's no point. And then in the third quarter, I'm okay, the Cowboys are kind of getting in our area. Let me pay attention and watch our defense play. And then what happens? Sauce Gardner's covering George Pickens. George Pickens does the same exact thing that Garrett Wilson did the week before, where Garrett Wilson got called for offensive pass interference, pushes off Sauce twice. Sauce, of course, can't make a play in the biggest moments where we need a play and gives up a 40-yard touchdown to George Pickens. So it's just a disaster across the board. The entire team is a disaster, and it's really hard to even talk about the team anymore because it's just we're not watching the same sport as some of these other games. We're non-competitive in all these games. And everyone's well, look at Justin Fields. Let me actually pull it up. I didn't prepare for this, but I'm going to look it up now. Look at Justin Fields' stats. He looks so good. Let's see. Justin Fields finished 32 for 46 for 283 yards. He had 7 carries for 26 yards. Number one, we're not going to win when he only runs for 26 yards. Number two, all of that shit was garbage time. All of it. This guy held onto the ball way too long. He holds onto the ball for more than 3 seconds on average. That is by far the most out of any starting quarterback in the league. So everyone wants to blame the offensive line. And look, the offensive line had a terrible day. This was their worst game they've played this year. But when Justin Fields is standing back there for 3 seconds, of course he's going to get sacked. Of course he's going to throw incomplete passes. Of course he's going to fumble. He's just not the guy. And I think a problem with him too, and I don't know him personally, obviously, he seems like an actual great human being. He seems very humble. Seems like a hard worker, all that kind of stuff. New York's a little different. This team has this like inner rot to it where it's just been a losing mentality for 15 years. And we need someone like I'm trying to think of like a quarterback that has that attitude, like a Joe Burrow or someone like that. And I thought Aaron Rodgers had that, but it just didn't work out because he got hurt. Where like Justin Fields sitting back and like kind of letting everyone else like just do their thing and like not showing any fire. I don't think that's going to turn around this team. I think it's all up. We fumbled. Let's put our heads down and walk to the sideline. I feel like we need someone who's got a little swagger to them, and Justin Fields has no swagger. The guy is 0-26 when the defense gives up more than 21 points. 0-26. He's never won a game where the defense couldn't hold a team under 20 points in his entire career. Loser. Another loser. So we're just a team of losers. Oh, my God. It drives me absolutely insane. Man. It's tough. Let me just give you some positives because there were a few positives. Although he fumbled, I thought Breece Hall had a really great game. He had 113 yards rushing and 42 yards receiving. So, he's over, 150-something yards of total offense. So we finally fed him the ball a lot. Of course, it came back to bite us with the fumble, but the defender made a great play. The thing is, you got to see the team rebound after that, and it just didn't happen. The defense gives up two 90-yard touchdown drives in a row. Oh, God, it's so frustrating. So frustrating. Garrett Wilson, once again, is a hero. He had another, 70-something yards, but he can't do it all by himself. I thought Mason Taylor had a great game. He's really coming on as the number 2 guy for Justin Fields, so I'm really excited about him. After that, I couldn't care less about any of the other players on this team. Josh Reynolds, he can go. Arian Smith, we don't use him right. Alan Lazard, get off the team. It's, Isaiah Davis, we only ran him once, but you couldn't run because we were down 23-3 at halftime. So the running game was done, even though we're, once again, putting up like 8 yards a clip. Breece Hall's average rushing was 8.1 yards a carry. It's insane. One thing I will say about Breece, though, he lost that, explosiveness. Back in his rookie year, he used to be able to take some of these runs and take it to the house. Now he can get past that first line of defenders, get through the linebackers, and then he runs out of gas. I don't know if he's running out of gas. I just don't think he has the explosiveness and power to actually score a long-distance touchdown anymore. If it wasn't for Braylon Allen getting hurt, I would be an advocate for trading Breece. But I think now, what are you going to do? You're going to trade Breece, and then we're going to have Isaiah Davis, Khalil Herbert, and someone else. I don't even, Andrew Beck is going to run the ball. I don't know. So that's tough. I don't think you can trade him now unless we're at, 0-8 or 0-1-7 or something like that. Because otherwise, you could just let him go, and then you'll get a comp pick in 2 years. But I don't think you want to wait 2 years to get that comp pick. I think you'd rather just trade him now. So, yeah, that's brutal. None of the tight ends played besides Mason Taylor. Rucker is in there, but where are these other guys? The personnel just confuses the hell out of me. I don't get it. On defense, let's talk about the defense. I don't know if I can name anyone who had a good game this week. Brandon Stevens probably had one of his best games. He really likes to tackle in the run game, so I'll give him that. I think Sauce got better at tackling. He's been tackling a lot lately. I thought Kiko Malgo was horrible. I watched him let up 2 touchdowns to, who was it to? I think it was to Jake Ferguson. Yeah, to Jake Ferguson because he was confused. He didn't know where to go. Kiko, he had no idea where to go. Sherwood, on one of, I think it was Javonte Williams' touchdown runs. Maybe it was a dump-off pass. I can't remember. The effort he showed was so minimal. I'm like, where? It's literally like Muhammad Wilkerson level of effort that we're getting once we paid this guy. So another bad contract, and who knows, he could turn it around, but our linebackers are just so bad. Defensive ends, Michael Clemens, there were multiple plays where he was just facing the wrong direction. I'm like, where are you looking, dude? There was one play, it was an end around. Michael Clemens is still running after the quarterback, and the ball is 8 yards past him. I'm like, where is he going? The guy's got no awareness of anything that's going on around him. Crazy. It's crazy. And then we bring on Jarvis Brownlee, doesn't even play. So I got to watch. We had to put Malachi Moore in the slot, which I don't know why Malachi Moore's playing slot. That's not his position. He's a safety. Put Malachi Moore back there at safety and put Jarvis Brownlee in the slot to play for Michael Carter. Made no sense to me at all. Great, you tried something new, cool, but that was probably the worst thing you could have tried. I don't know. Some of these other linebackers didn't really play at all. Cam Jones, didn't see him. I mean, we're still stuck with Kiko Mawagoa. Some other guys that are on the roster that just didn't really play that much. So, man, it's bad. It's really, really bad. I finally saw Andrew Beck get involved. I think he had a touchdown catch, so that was cool, but a little too late. Bright light, Nick Folk. Guy just makes his field goals all the time. Can you imagine if we had Nick Folk last year? Who knows? We could have been 5-2 last year. Instead, we went into the tank because our kicker couldn't kick at all, and Aaron Rodgers just wasn't back to healthy yet. So this team's terrible. It's just so bad. It's really, really bad. And now we got to go all the way to London. Thank God they traveled to London already. So I'm recording this on Tuesday. They're already in London. Thank God they got the hell away from New York, get away from all the noise, just go to London and no one knows who you are, just go there and hang out for a couple days. Well, and maybe don't practice, because Aaron Glenn just keeps talking about how great practice was, just like every other Jets coach we've ever had. And then the practice never translates to the game. So maybe we just don't practice. That'd be cool. Just don't. And just have people just run out there and go play. Like, God, as you can tell, I am very frustrated because I put a lot of time and effort into this team. And not only are they disappointing, they're embarrassing, and it's not even fun. You sit down for maybe 20, maybe 15 minutes of the game while you're there, and it's not fun because the game's over, and then your entire stadium is filled with the other team's fans, so you're just getting tortured the entire game. It's just brutal. You're just like laughing. It's just a joke. The whole thing is a joke. And let's wrap this all up with like talking about Aaron Glenn. The thing that pisses me off the most is Aaron Glenn walked in here and said, we're not the same old Jets. He told the team to buckle up and get ready for the ride. We're built for this shit. He literally said that in his opening press conference. He was asked about Aaron Rodgers, and he said, no, we're not folding. We are a win-now team. We're going to play to win. Well, we have 0 wins. We didn't make the right moves in the offseason. I thought we had a terrible second half of the draft, which is now evident by the Arian Smith pick, the Kiko Mawagoa pick, who else is even on this freaking team? The fact that we still have Braden McGregor playing because we didn't draft any other players that could take a spot. The Tyler Barron pick, which looks horrible right now. Can't get Azareye'h Thomas on the field. It's really, really bad, and he can't sell us this bill of goods that we're going to play to win. We're going to win now. And then we're 0-5. And the roster is disgusting. Darren Muji, I get it. Your first draft, you don't have your people in place yet. You're still using the scouting staff from the previous regime. But you traded up for some of these guys. You traded up for Arian Smith, for Kiko Mawagoa, for Tyler Barron. Is it working? Did it work, Darren Muji? And now we're putting up things that like we've never seen before. Never in NFL history. The NFL's been around for like 100 years. There's never been a team that started 0-5 with 0 turnovers in their first 5 games. Aaron Glenn is a defensive head coach, and we have 0 turnovers, and the defense can't stop anybody. We've given up 30, we gave up almost 40 points. Oh, man. It's really, really bad. Now, look, everyone has been saying, is Aaron Glenn going to be one and done? For how pissed I am at Aaron Glenn and how annoyed I am about this whole situation and how bad this team is. Because it's really starting to make me like not want to go to these games anymore, but I'm going to give it a little more time before I make any rash decisions like that. It's only been 5 games. But how are you a defensive coach? You're letting Steve Wilks continue to run this defense, and we have no turnovers. And then you look around at all these other first-time head coaches. Liam Cohen. He just beat the Kansas City Chiefs. His team's in first place. They're 4-1. They were worse than us last year, the Jacksonville Jets. We beat them by a lot last year, and they were worse than us. You look at Mike Vrabel. he just went into Buffalo and beat the Buffalo Bills in his first year with the Patriots. The Patriots were worse than us. Look at the New York Giants. They have a coaching staff that is all going to be fired at the end of this year. They stroll out a rookie quarterback. Boom, they get a win against the Chargers, who are a good team. It's like, I'm just like looking around. I'm like, what is happening here? What is going? Even the Saints, you can't name half of the Saints roster. They get a win. The Tennessee Titans have the worst coaching staff in the NFL by far. You definitely can't name any players on that roster besides probably Cam Ward and Calvin Ridley. And look at them. They go in and beat the Arizona Cardinals, and they come back to do it. So that's why I'm like, Aaron Glenn, you're this big shot. Oh, look at Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson looks great for the Chicago Bears. You know, it's not about this rough and tough. I was from Bill Parcells' coaching tree. You haven't won shit, Aaron Glenn. Bill Parcells had multiple rings by the time he came to the Jets, and he could do whatever the hell he wanted. You can't. And all that tough guy attitude that you had with the media sounded good. I was excited about it in the offseason, but you've lost 5 games in a row. Now you got to take it, and you got to take accountability for what you've done. And you got to fix it. You got to fix it now, because this fan base is going to get real restless real quick. No one's going to be in the stands, and then Woody Johnson's going to be looking right at you. Now, the one thing I will say, will he get fired at the end of this year? Unless it is an absolute disaster where we go 1-16 or 0-17, no, Aaron Glenn will not get fired. The reason I say that is not because of, the hope that we have, the fact that he was a former Jet. Who gives a shit that he was a former Jet if we can't get wins? The reason why he's not going to get fired is because Woody Johnson just gave him a 5-year, $12 million a year contract. You think Woody, and all coaching contracts are fully guaranteed. Do you think Woody Johnson's going to fire Aaron Glenn and then pay him for 4 more years while also paying the new coach to come in? I don't think so. And there's a lot of people that are saying this is very similar to the Gerard Mayo situation with the Patriots last year. I disagree with that. The reason I disagree with that is because I don't think they would have fired. I don't think the Patriots would have fired their coach if they didn't know that Vrabel was going to be out there. So they took the opportunity to get Vrabel instead of sticking with their guy. Who's the guy if you fire Aaron Glenn? And why am I talking about this already? And it's only week 6. Oh my God, this is such a killer. But yeah, I don't see it happening unless this is just the worst season that's ever happened. And look, if 2-3 different plays go a different way this year, maybe we're 2-3. But they didn't. We did fumble 2 kickoffs. We did have Braylon Allen fumble. So what are you going to do? All right, well, this week, unfortunately, flying out Thursday night to go to London. I'm very excited for this trip because it's actually really fun to be in London during another football game because, one, there's so many fans of other teams that just go to the game because they really want to see NFL football, so I think that's really cool. Tottenham Stadium's awesome. I also love hanging out with all the fans from the UK that are Jets fans. I feel like a lot of them aren't as hardened as we are and as pissed off at this point. They're all kind of like, yay, I'm excited my team's coming. And, we'll do some really cool meetups and tailgates and stuff. Well, not tailgates. We'll go to pubs and things like that. I'll be hopping around with the Badlands crew. I think they're going to be mixed up with Gotham City and all those guys, as well as the international group. So I think it's like the Jets fan club of the UK. I met Olivia, who runs that entire org, back when I was at the draft. So I'm really excited for that part. I'm not excited to watch this game. I think it's going to be a horrible matchup for the Jets. I'll do a pod on, I don't actually know when. Probably Saturday before the game, just to talk through my thoughts and all that good stuff. But yeah, I'm not really excited about the game part. But that is it. The New York Jets 0-5. If you're a Jets fan, stick with it. Just try not to get too emotional about it, especially if you're not going to the games, you're sitting at home. You can just turn it off and put on Red Zone. Maybe get 2 TVs. That's what I have. Get 2 TVs. One, you put the Jets on, maybe turn the volume off, and then put on Red Zone because it's going to be a bumpy ride. But there's some winnable games coming up, even though every single team is probably saying that about us. But man, I really just want to get one on the board just so Aaron Glenn could have one. But okay, a lot more to come. Please like, rate, subscribe, review, follow, all the good things. JuicyJet25 across Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Otherwise, thank you all for listening. Really appreciate it if you are actually still listening to this, even though this team is god-awful and doesn't deserve your time. And I will talk to y'all right before the London game. See you soon.